What up, YouTube Digital? I am going to do a video on bankruptcy, but before then, I want to talk about credit cards. Not how you think. Back in back in the 90s, credit cards were transforming from only rich and famous like Donald Trump having them to everybody. Now, as part of this process, people did not know how to get them. So I would help out. And I figured out, thanks to my economics teacher of all people, how the thing works. What the hell? The Killers. Wasn't that the one? The Killers saxophonist committed suicide. What the fuck? Killers. Didn't they have that song? Yeah, Mr. Brightside. Well, you know what? I'll play Mr. Brightside then because I like that song. And I didn't even know this guy, Sam's Town, day and age. Huh. Huh. Yeah, I'll still play it anyways. It's a good song. Even though he didn't help out on this one. But back to credit cards. I figured out, it seems pretty simple now, but back then, again, hardly anyone had these. They didn't know how it worked and all this other bullshit. If somebody came up to tell me they had a credit card, even a store's charge account, I'd laugh at it. But I figured out how the application process worked, but better yet, I figured out the thresholds of the computer. That's where everything worked. The other area I figured out is how to fool any verification deals. So back then, and the only reason I'm talking about this now is there's virtually no way you can use this anymore, so it doesn't matter. But back then, you had pagers. Those pagers would there was an option that I had on my account to leave a personal voicemail, message. And I set mine up just like a business answering machine. So when somebody called it, they would not know it was a pager. And that was a big factor. You did not want them to know it was a pager, otherwise it would be an instant fuck you. My provider also gave me a tone-only option, which was not... Basically, tone-only is when somebody called your pager but didn't punch in any numbers. So it just tells me that somebody called, but they didn't enter a message. Now, that's where most plans stop, but mine would do a caller ID and put the number that called. So I could massage this person's income by creating them a second job And as long as he had a clean credit file, meaning no negatives, I could get him a card. Easiest was like Sears. Sears had the regular charge card, then they had Sears Charge Plus, which was a revolving account. It was a damn credit card without the physical card. The regular charge was like $2,000 tops. That's as much as anyone could get, or $5,000, something like that. But their Charge Plus was $20,000. Okay. So I figured out it got people and everything else, and I would give them, if they didn't have enough income, I'd create a second job, put a pager number down, and I'd get a tone only. I'd call it back and say, sorry, my answering machine ate the tape, yada yada yada, and yeah. So yeah, again, a lot of people don't understand how powerful this whole deal was. But really, if a lot of people were doing this back then, it would have killed the credit card system. Yeah, I'm not joking around about that, because that was when they finally started letting the computers run the application process, and only very few of the applications would drop out to a person to complete. So as long as if you knew what the computer wanted to see, what it was programmed to see, you could, get yeses. So it was a cool system. I made some money. I'm not gonna get into that. I didn't do it for anyone that purposely went to defraud them or anything else. I just tell people that try to get a credit card. They usually got turned down because they didn't know how it worked. And I went back and showed them how to do it. The first few times it was on dares. But, then it revolved into something a little bit more. And again, nowadays it's impossible. I don't even think they sell pager plans anymore. I mean, it's the reason why you could do this thing today is because of Google. You have to really be invested enough to get this fake phone number into the system in case they Google it. And most verificationers will Google a phone number now, just to be sure that it comes back how it should come back. So it would be pretty much, I won't say impossible, because nothing's impossible, but the feasible way of doing it on a mass deal is kind of virtually not there. Unless you really knew how the system works even more. But it'd just be a pain to do it like this nowadays. But anywho, I did this because I wanted a card myself. I got turned down, and it was kind of stupid. But after I figured it out, I had 10 cards in a week and a car loan. So, yeah. But anyway, don't try it at all, even though it ain't gonna work. But yeah. So always look for a way out of things, because it's always there. People, I'm going to get into bankruptcy just a little bit, but people think like bankruptcy is the end of time or whatever, the end of days or whatever. I've known people that have got into bankruptcy with like almost an 800 or whatever credit score, come out at 740. You know, bankruptcy right now is probably the best thing anyone could do. Hell, I recommend people doing it. And people are worried about car loans and, all this other bullshit. Well, you could get a car. That's not a problem. You might not be able to get a credit card or a good credit card for a while, but deal with it. Or figure out other ways of dealing with those, because if you don't need a credit card, then you can get a store card, or go to rent a center, or go to QVC, go to there are a million places that you could go to that that a credit card is not needed. Or they give you a revolving account based on the fact that you have a debit card, like QVC and Shop NBC and stuff like that. They give you flex pays as long as you have a debit card. So yeah, people overrate perfect credit. You could still get around in life without perfect credit. Almost as easy as people with perfect credit. You have to work a little harder sometimes. But other times, no. So anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. I need to go and get my God, I got a sinus infection. It's really killing me. I need to go get my windows tinted this morning. I'm gonna go hang out at the casino for a little bit and shit like that. So, yinny hoozle. I will be getting around to a bankruptcy video, hopefully within the next few days. But yeah, always look for the escape hatch. Yeah, life sucks if you just box yourself in, and especially when you don't give yourself a way out. Screw others, just not giving yourself a way out. So, any hoozle. Peace.